Hello everyone, and welcome to another lecture for international reporting. I'd like to talk briefly today about Ukraine, a country that has been in the news. It was part of the impeachment process against President Trump, and Ukraine is a country in Eastern Europe. It is bordered by Russia here, which has dominated Ukraine for many years. Over here you see Crimea, which I'll get to in a moment, but is an important port for the Russian fleet. So during the latter part of the 18th century, most Ukrainian territory was absorbed by the Russian Empire, and after the collapse of Tsarist Russia in 1917, Ukraine had a brief period of independence for 2 years, but was reconquered and endured a brutal Soviet rule that caused two forced famines in 1921 and 1932, in which over 8 million Ukrainians died. In World War II, German and Soviet armies were responsible for battles back and forth in the area for 7 to 8 million more deaths. And although Ukraine achieved independence in 1991 after the dissolution of the USSR, democracy and prosperity remained elusive because of the legacy of state control under the Soviet Union and then corruption. In recent years, there's been a lot going on. So the Orange Revolution in 2004 forced the authorities to overturn a rigged presidential election and to allow a new internationally monitored vote that swept into power Viktor Yushchenko. Subsequent internal squabbles in the Yushchenko camp allowed his rival Viktor Yanukovych to stage a comeback in parliamentary elections and became prime minister in 2006. He later was elected president in 2010. In October 2012, Ukraine held parliamentary elections, which again were seen as flawed, and the government tried to suppress the vote. President Yanukovych is backtracking on a trade and cooperation agreement with the European Union in favor of closer ties to Russia. Created long protests, which ultimately in 2014 led to all-out pitched battles, scores of deaths, and ultimately the president's abrupt departure for Russia. After that, new elections allowed a pro-West president to come into power in 2014, and he was succeeded by Zelensky only recently. Shortly after Yanukovych's departure in late February 2014, Russian President Putin ordered the invasion of the Crimean Peninsula. 2 weeks later, a quote-unquote referendum was held regarding the integration of Crimea into the Russian Federation. That referendum was condemned by a variety of parties. In response to Russia's annexation of Crimea, 100 members of the United Nations passed a resolution rejecting the referendum as baseless and invalid and confirming the sovereignty, political independence, unity, and territorial integrity of Ukraine. But Russia continues to control Crimea and has military forces there, and it also continues to support proxies in two of Ukraine's eastern provinces, so that Russia retains control and long-time meddling in Ukraine. So far, 10,000 people died in the Crimean conflict. So that's just a brief overview of what is a flashpoint between Russia, the United States, Russia, and Europe, and is likely to continue in the years ahead. So that's it for now. We'll see you online. Thanks very much. Bye now.